Hello, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Jess.
She's the traumatized.
And she's the abandoned. And
Welcome to our podcast, where we talk about true crime, spooky things, and everything in between.
And today we are talking about abandoned places.
Woot woot.
It's like half of our name.
It is half of our name.
It's the true crime and the abandoned places is how we started this.
Yep.
And then it just got so much more.
So, how were our weeks?
Great.
Good.
Actually great. Like, why don't you go first? In the spirit of making you talk more. Keeping my mouth shut.
Well, I mean, usually I go first anyways.
True.
I don't know, doctor's appointments. And I have to go twice a week. So I have to drive an hour.
Into Louisville.
I have to go to the one I don't like to go to.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it's only temporary and it's for a great reason.
Yeah. I mean, everything's fine. Like, all of the fluids are fine. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. That's what they're measuring, is they're measuring not only the baby every other week, but now they're starting to measure the placenta, the fluids around the baby, the flow from in the umbilical cord. Like, that's what they're measuring to make sure that everything's like going smoothly. And every single one of those tests, I come back with like perfect scores. So
that's awesome. That's great.
The only issue is she's still kind of small. So I guess I'm just gonna have a small baby.
You know what? That's totally fine.
And then
it'll be an easier delivery.
That's what I said. And then yesterday was a interesting day.
Yeah, why is that?
Because I went to go get my dog's nails trimmed at this grooming place we've never been to before, but we brought them there because it was $10 for nail clippings.
Oh yeah.
And there was kind of a kitten outside for adoption. I just had a feeling. I was like, I need that kitten. So now we have a kitten.
Yeah, I'm like screaming last night and she's like, oh, hey, I got a cat. And I'm like, what? Hold on. I didn't get any videos, anything. And just like, oh, I got a kitten. Like, what? He is so stinking cute. Oh,
so cute. He's sleeping right now on the bed. Yeah, he's just being chased around by Beanie. And
so now it's your turn to have kittens randomly going around your back.
Yeah, but
that's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
What's the baby's name?
Loki.
I love that.
He's so mischievous already. So it works perfectly.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm happy for you guys.
Yeah, I'm happy. Which is weird because, like, if you know me, you know, like, I'm not a cat person.
I was very shocked when you said you got a cat. But you've been talking about possibly getting one for a minute. So, like, I wasn't super shocked, but still, I was like,
it'll be a good opportunity for Beanie. Kind of help him learn, like, gentleness and trying to, but, you know, like, having him help me take care of it so, like, he can learn a little bit of responsibility and stuff. And, like, yeah, so I think it'll be good. And it'll be good for our dogs because when we move back to Connecticut, his parents has cats now. Yeah. And so, like, this will, like, acclimate them to cats and stuff. I'm happy. That's all I can say.
That's really cute. Oh my God, I love that for you guys.
How was your week?
It was good. It was really good. Finally, like, getting the last pieces of the furniture in. So unpacking some final boxes. It actually feels like it's almost done. And that's really exciting. Just a really kind of, I don't say boring week, but just like a typical week. I've been cooking in the kitchen, and it's a huge kitchen, which I love. Nothing really happened. Nothing really like, I mean, we streamed for the first time in 9 months last night, and that was so much fun. I missed it.
Same.
But yeah, that's basically it.
Just unpacked.
After we're done here, I have my bookshelf, so I'm gonna put my bookshelf up right here. So hopefully it cuts out the door, and then we'll be good.
Though it is a see-through bookshelf, so
but
good luck with
it is
that.
a see-through. But I have things to fill in the holes.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. You may still be able to see the door a little. Do you want to hear about the fun fact of the day?
I do. Fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day. Did you know that humans share 50% of their DNA with bananas?
I think I've heard that before.
I hadn't. And I was like, a banana? Okay.
A banana?
A banana? I don't know. I thought that was very strange. I never heard that.
Crazy.
Okay, so what abandoned place are you doing today?
So I'm gonna be talking about Lennox Castle.
Okay.
It's from Scotland. I think
Okay.
it's in Scotland. I did not look up pronunciations. Oh well.
It's gonna be great because I didn't either.
Apologize for us Americans. We did not look up any pronunciations. So apologies ahead of time.
Yeah, sorry.
So, standing on the wooded northern slope of the South Brae, commanding an extensive and brilliant view, a splendid mansion stands as a striking picture in a gorgeous landscape. However, this mansion, known as Lennox Castle, has a very dark history. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
So, the castle, located approximately 12 miles north of Glasgow, was built on a square plan in grand old Norman style, and Norman architecture is used to describe styles of Romanesque architecture, which is an architectural style of medieval Europe characterized by semicircular arches. Romanesque architecture, but a little twist on it, developed by the Normans, which are like Duchy of Normandy. Yeah, I don't know. It has battlemented corner towers with a larger tower in the center of the west side. The castle was built between 1837 and 1841 by David Hamilton for John Lennox Kincaid.
Kincaid? Thomas Kincaid is a famous
Kincaid.
That sounds like Kincaid because Thomas Kincaid is a famous painter. So yeah, maybe there's a relation there. I don't know.
On the Lennox of Woodhead estate. The castle became the seat of the Honorable Charles Spencer Bateman Hanbury Kincaid Lennox, a conservative politician. He was a politician from 1852 to 1865, and that is like the longest name I've ever seen in my life. But it became the seat when he married the heiress of the Lennox Castle in 1861 and assumed her name. The castle was primarily a residence, that is until the First World War. Then it was briefly a military hospital, and apparently it did so well as a military hospital. A few years later, it was selected as a site for a new psychiatric hospital by Glasgow City Council in 1925. And 2 years later, they paid 25 euros to purchase the estate, which I wonder what that is in today's money real quick.
I feel like euros are very similar to dollars.
25,000 euros is roughly 26,988 US dollars, but I wonder inflation. 27 was roughly $26,000 back then. It would be roughly $456,000 today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So expensive.
Very. Well, not really for a castle.
That's true.
I mean, you're getting a castle. How much did you say?
25,000 euros, roughly $26,000.
Yeah. So, I guess it depends on the type, like how bad it is, like how gross it looks.
So then the hospital cost over 1 million euros to build and had space for 1,200 patients. They used the main castle as one building, and then they built on the grounds. So there were separate dormitories for male and female patients, each one holding around 60 people in like 2 wards. There was also an administration block, 40 houses to provide housing for married staff, and a visitor's tea room. And then the castle was used to house patients while the modern hospital was built, after which it became home for nurses. So over the years, they added on to it.
Gotcha.
So the Lennox Castle Hospital complex was opened a few years later in 1936. When it opened, Lennox was hailed as being way ahead of its time and was the largest and best equipped hospital of its kind in Britain. Now, just a reminder, this is like a psychiatric hospital. It's not like a regular hospital.
Right.
Patients also had access to 2 communal dining halls with seating for around 600 people each, and a central assembly hall which housed a stage, equipment for cinema shows, and recreational facilities. With the outbreak of World War II, the hospital was requisitioned. Is that the word? Requisitioned? Taken? Requisitioned?
We do this every fucking episode. You realize that, right? Between the two of us, we do it at least once. Like, words are hard. But did you know, additional fun fact, did you know if you have a trouble pronouncing words like that, it's because you learned them by reading.
Yeah.
And not by hearing them.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting that both of us have issues with that because we are avid readers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like when we come across a word, we know what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. We just didn't learn it by hearing
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All the fun facts. So World War II, the hospital was taken over for the war effort. And some long-term but temporary arrangements were made. So I guess regular patients were moved out of the hospital into huts on the grounds.
Oh.
And this arrangement lasted for about 40 years. Crazy.
Wow. Okay.
In addition, approximately 6 wards in Lennox Castle Hospital were converted into maternity wards. And I think you can see that on the map that I shared. And these 6 wards could accommodate for about 60 patients. This temporary arrangement lasted from 1942 to 1964.
Wow.
I suppose we should get into the treatment. So I did say it had a dark history.
Knew it had a dark history. Oh, no.
Despite a promising start, conditions at Lennox Castle Hospital soon began to deteriorate. The hospital was vastly overcrowded, understaffed, and underfunded. Vulnerable patients were left to fend for themselves in large wards. And in recent years, allegations of abuse, neglect, and terrible conditions have surfaced. Patients who didn't need drugs were given them as a way of ensuring that they remained calm and didn't cause trouble in overcrowded conditions. It was said that only 10% of patients actually needed medications. The patients also had to work, some in laundry or in a piggery near Kirkintilloch. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. At Lennox Castle Hospital, 1/4 of the patients were underweight or malnourished, and the patients were given punishments ranging from dietary restrictions like only bread and milk to baseball bat blows. It was also said that during mealtimes, the patients would have food thrown at them like they were feeding birds. Gross.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
These are human beings.
No. Yeah, they should not be treated any which way. No. Staff members would use unacceptable methods of control. These included their arms being twisted behind their backs, the use of cold showers, the removal of shoes and money as punishment. Another punishment included being dressed in a knee-length white nightshirt and being forced to scrub the floors with a toothbrush.
No.
And there were several reports from residents and others of staff swearing at and insulting the residents, of course. Patients who dared to run away were chased by dogs through the surrounding woods. When returned, they were locked up for 6 weeks, placed on a mattress on the floor, drugged, and forbidden visitors. This one, trigger warning. I don't know how else to say that, trigger warning. But in one article, it said sometimes the patients were used as entertainment. Women have talked of having to strip naked while staff laughed at them, and men were made to perform sexual acts on each other for the amusement of staff. Just gross. I do have some personal stories.
Oh, okay.
Huey McIntyre was adopted as a baby, but later his adoptive parents sent him to Lennox Castle and he never saw them again. How I'm kind of reading, well, like while I was reading this, I was getting very much the vibes of like a Magdalene laundry.
I very much so. Like it sounds very familiar, which is like, not great.
It was supposed to be for like people with disabilities and you know, who needed psychiatric care as well. But it seems like anyone and everyone was dumped here, like a Magdalene laundry. Ugh. Huey says he had no idea how he would ever be let out of the hospital. I was in there for 16 years, he said. I lost the will to survive. I remembered my life in there. I was tortured, beaten, kicked, heavily punched, and I had severe injuries. I get nightmares thinking about it. And then there's Marie O'Connor, had been placed in the hospital when she went off the rails drinking and smoking and staying out. She was diagnosed with a learning disability and her parents were assured Lennox Castle was the best place for her.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Marie says, I was no different from thousands of other teenagers. I knew there was nothing wrong with me. And if I hadn't been strong in my mind, I would have gone crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like if she actually would have had what they said she had.
Mhm.
Oh God. Okay.
Then there's Norman Telfer. He was a teenage orphan when social workers placed him in the castle. When he came out, he was 6 years short of his pension, 45 years later.
Holy hell.
He remembers
Wow.
patients being treated far worse than prisoners. He says the corridor had to be scrubbed until it was shining, or they would kick the bucket over and you would start again. Beds had to be made to perfection, or they would tip them up and make you start again.
Wow.
But that's insane. He was in there for 45 years and he got put in there as a teenager. Like, crazy.
I hate people.
But we're coming to the end. Due to overpopulation at the hospital, maternity services were moved from the location in the 1950s. And in the 1960s, the location once more served as a hospital only for people with mental illnesses. The hospital was under duress in the 1970s since the facility had surpassed its 1,700 patient limit.
What? How many?
1,700. So 1,700 patient limit. They surpassed that.
Insane.
And
Jesus.
they were having trouble with staffing and funding. Alistair Sim, the hospital director in the 1980s, declared that he had never worked in a deeper pit. A deeper pit is in quotations. And that the predicament of these impoverished people made him sick to his stomach.
Yeah. I don't think any like normal human being could walk in on a group of people being treated this badly and be like, yeah, no, that's fine. You know, like
not normal people, for sure. Patients and employees started slowly departing the castle in 1987 and transferring to neighboring hospitals. Except for the castle, all of the buildings were demolished by 2004 when the hospital finalized its closure in 2002. So it was finally shut down in 2002. The castle continued to deteriorate despite being listed on the Buildings at Risk registry since 1992, and a fire in 2008 left the formerly Grand Lennox Castle a crumbling shell.
Oh, wow. It's like completely.
And for my closing statement, though the institution is gone, its past remains deeply embedded in the memories of patients and staff brave enough to share their experiences to help shape a better future for social care. Dun dun dun. And that's the Lennox Castle.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I actually heard of the Lennox Castle because I do think when we're doing research and stuff, like I came across and I thought that was really interesting. So I was really glad you did it.
Who just like takes a castle and turns it into a hospital?
Mental hospital?
A mental hospital of all things too. Yeah.
It does have the room, but
jail. Yeah, true.
All right. Are you ready for mine?
Ready.
It's also a very well-known one. So I am doing La Isla de la Muñecas, which is also the island of dolls. It's been one like I've wanted to do for a very long time, but it's also like it's so creepy. It's so creepy.
I hate dolls.
We have that in common. I'll have to send you this thing my dad sent me. It was a GIF and it was something and it just had really creepy. I don't even remember what the GIF said, but it was just I just saw the dolls and I was like, you need to delete that satanic thing off my phone right now. Like it's not for me. Hold on, I'll send it to you and you can get a live reaction here. Oh, I had to see it, so you have to see it. So hold on. Unique dolls for sale. Sometimes they move, but Psalms 91 calms them down, is what it says.
No. Those are not dolls. Those are not dolls.
Oh my god, they're terrifying. They are terrifying.
Please
I'm sending it to you.
No.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
Pause. This is more important than the podcast. Give me a second.
Live reaction. No, those are not dolls. Those are not dolls. Get it off. Get it off. How do you delete? Which one's the delete one? Where's the delete? Fuck. Can you not delete? Can you not delete?
I can delete. This is funny though.
How do you delete it?
Hold on, I got you.
Let me react to it. Okay.
I was working and I was like, you get those satanic things away from me.
No.
Antique dolls for sale. I was like,
I wanna
no.
cry. Like, I
That
literally
was
want to
so
cry.
creepy. All right, so that's my intro. No, I'm just kidding. Well, this is gonna be a really fun one for you because I have a lot of.
And
I think I have 8 pictures of dolls.
I'm not editing that picture into the podcast, so you guys can
Why?
just imagine. No, absolutely
Guys,
not.
rant right now. All the
Absolutely
comments
not.
say we want the picture and make her post it.
You can post it on our social medias. You can post it, not me.
I don't want to curse our social
That's
media.
true. Just look for it online, you guys. Google it. Or
it's really
something.
creepy. Yeah, do that.
Because, like, absolutely not. Like, I literally wanted to cry. That's
so creepy.
Crazy. Okay. Island of the Dolls. I'm not
Speaking
excited.
of dolls, La Isla de las Muñecas, or the Island of the Dolls, is known for the number of dolls of various styles and colors that can be found throughout the island. Local legend surrounded the dolls and the island's reclusive former owner, Don Julian Santana Barrera, making the island a popular destination for dark tourism. We're going to go about the history, and then we're going to go into like a deeper, darker legend. So we're here for the ride.
Are we?
Oh, we're so here for the ride.
We don't want to be.
I mean, so some history. 50 years ago, a man named Don Julian Santana left his wife and child to move to an island on the Toshillo Lake in the Xochimilco canals. And we already start getting weird right off the bat. According to Don Julian and some locals, a young girl actually had recently drowned in that lake. However, the general population, including Don Julian's relatives, said that he merely had imagined this drowned girl. Regardless, Don Julian devoted his life to honoring this lost soul in a unique, quirky, or just kind of weird and kind of creepy way. He started collecting dolls and hanging them up all around the island by the hundreds. I hate dolls. And I think we just talked about this, how much we hate dolls.
Understand how you... I don't get it.
We'll get there. Kind of explains a little, maybe, sort of.
Okay.
But truly, like, almost as much as I hate Ouija boards, like, dolls are not it for me.
Absolutely not.
No.
Oh my gosh. I just watched a couple weeks ago, you know, Josh Gates, who does, what is it called, the show that I really like, Expedition Unknown.
Okay.
So he has a side show that has like 2 other investigators in it that are like the main characters. He kind of shows up once in a while. I don't remember what that show is called, but basically they go and investigate claims and stuff, and they investigated this, and the chick was in, I don't know if it was that hut or she was in one of the huts, and like one of the dolls behind her like did something in the video, and I was like, absolutely not. And I turned the episode off because they told her over the radio, and I'm like, no thank you.
No, this place does get fucking creepy. Okay. So now the legend part states he did this because the day after he found the girl, he found a doll drifting down the canal. Believing it had belonged to the little girl, he hung the doll up from a tree in her memory and almost as like a talisman to ward off evil spirits.
I don't think it worked.
So digging a little deeper into that legend, it is also claimed that Don Julian then found a second doll in the canal the next day. So he saw it as a sign and started decorating. So
decorating. That's what we're going to say. He did. He decorated.
So what I found is super interesting, as I had mentioned before, is that there was no actual evidence that the little girl had ever existed.
Okay.
So eventually, Don Julian transformed his entire island into a kind of bizarre and for some horrifying doll-infested wonderland.
What do you mean?
Or
some?
hell.
Everyone.
Depending on how you look at it.
How come they never have I guess some have clothes. Like, why?
So I'm gonna try to keep my personal opinions out of it for the rest of the, we'll see. Because you guys know how much they just creep me out. It's just so creepy. But you know, some people don't view it that way. So Don Julian began collecting dolls from canals, the trash near his island home. He is also said to have traded produce he grew to locals for more dolls. Now, he didn't ever actually clean up the dolls or even attempt attempt to fix them once he got them. Rather, just put them up with missing eyes, limbs, covered in dirt, and generally in whatever state that he had found them in.
Yeah, that's weird.
Even when the dolls would arrive in good shape, the wind and the weather would then turn them into cracked and distorted versions of themselves because he would just hang them up.
Yeah, of course. Because this is in in where again?
Mexico.
Mexico. Like in the middle or like on an edge?
It's in a canal.
In a canal somewhere.
It's in the middle.
Okay.
So Don Julian also kept his cabin filled with dolls. The middle part is actually now a Don Julian like memorial. So this was his cabin and he would like have it filled with dolls.
Absolutely not.
So he would actually sometimes dress the dolls in headdresses, sunglasses, and other accessories. Despite the fact that most people find the island frightening, Don Julian saw the dolls as beautiful protectors, and he welcomed visitors whom he would show around and, of course, charge a small fee for taking photos. In 2001, Don Julian's nephew came to help his uncle. As they fished in the canal, Don, who was then 80, sang passionately, claiming that mermaids in the water were calling for him.
What?
His nephew then left him briefly, but when he came back, he found his uncle drowned, face down in the canal, in the same area that he believed the little girl had died.
That's what's crazy to me about this story is he said that these dolls were like protectors, but then like he drowned. I don't know.
So, coincidence, paranormal, suicide, or mermaids? We don't know.
That line about mermaid, that's just weird. I don't know. That's strange. Right? Where did that come from? Just out of the blue.
I mean, maybe he was just singing. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so according to the creepier version of the legend, Don Julian was apparently haunted by the spirit of the girl and started hanging more dolls in an attempt to please her spirits. He soon realized that the dolls themselves were possessed by spirits of dead girls and continued to collect the creepy dolls, hanging them all over the area. Now, something I think I've heard before is there are actually no like children's spirits. They are usually like really dark and dangerous spirits that are trying to trick you.
Well, like if you figured out that they're possessed, why would you hang more? Why would you keep hanging more?
So, according to some that are close to him, it seemed as if Don Julian was driven by some unforeseen force that completely just changed him over time.
I believe that, honestly, because like why would a normal person just like start hanging dolls?
Randomly start hanging dolls. So apparently he was very marked by the fact that he was not able to save the little girl's life. After 50 years of collecting dolls and hanging them up all over the island, he was then found dead, drowned in the same spot where the little girl had died. Many people on the island believe that Don Julian has now joined the other spirits of the island.
They think he's still there.
The locals are very faithful that the Isla de las Muñecas is charmed or a haunted place, depending on how you look at it. Since the island became open to the public, there have been reports of the dolls moving their heads, arms, opening their eyes following you.
No, thank you. No.
Visitors have claimed that they have heard the dolls even whispering to each other.
No, stop.
That's a no for me.
All of this is a no for me. All of it. Just all of it.
Some change the dolls' clothes and maintain the island as like a form of worship.
I hate that. Why?
They want to appease them.
I thought the island is like prohibited. Do people just sneak on?
Because I thought that too, but this was like new. This is like new, so I wonder if they opened it up to the public now.
Because I thought way back
and it was
when,
Zach Baggins.
Yes, way back when Zach Baggins had to get special permission.
But I think it's been open since then.
And I think that show that I talked about, they needed special permission to get on there too.
I don't know. Maybe they just sneak on them because, I mean, there are so many pictures of the island now. I think it's prohibited at night.
Is it prohibited at night and people?
I think it's prohibited at night, but people can go on there and do tours during the day because all the pictures I have are during the day.
Interesting.
I think it is at night.
Maybe that makes sense. So they had to get special permission to stay overnight.
I think that's the case.
Probably then. I mean, because like if it's in Mexico City, like officials have authority over the property. That's like good tourist money right there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, 100%.
Real good. Do you know how many insane people? I'm calling you insane because absolutely not. I will not step on.
I'm like, no. I don't know why you're calling. Oh, you're not calling me insane. You're calling people who would go there insane.
Who would go there insane because like
I was like, because I fucking wouldn't go there. No way.
I feel like once you step on the ground, you're cursed immediately. Instantly cursed. No, thank you.
So even though the actions of Don Julian were innocent, according to some legends, and even admirable, it ended up being portrayed as a real nightmare destination. Obviously. The island has been featured on the Travel Channel show Ghost Adventures and the Amazon Prime show Lore, which I really want to start watching Lore. It was also featured on BuzzFeed's Unsolved, where the host Shane, who is like known for his skepticism around the paranormal.
Goat man, I'm jumping on your bridge.
Dancing
on your bridge, goat man.
He left the island and believed that the legends about the island were true. So he was convinced. That's why I wanted to watch it. Wow. Yeah, that's so we can watch it. If you haven't watched those, you definitely should. It gives you a really, I mean, Ghost Adventures, we all know they spice it's entertainment. Up. It's entertainment. However, Lore is really good.
Expedition X.
Okay. So it was on
Expedition X. Episode 3, season 1. They do the Doll Island. Yeah, crazy.
So crazy.
Absolutely
but yeah,
not. You could not pay me $1 million to even look at that island from a distance.
Nope. Not even a little bit. Obviously, I believe in the paranormal, and I believe that dolls can be conduits. There's just a whole lot of nope there for me. Plus the fact people worship it now, meaning it's getting power. There's a lot of nope for me.
They're worshiping it?
Yeah, they go there and maintain the island as like a form of like worship, and like no.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
You're powering the demons at this. Yeah, but like I said, some people view it as like a super spiritual, like these are happy ghosts.
I don't think so.
Anyway,
I don't think so.
That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, don't forget to follow us, leave a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, hi, like and subscribe. Do it.
It's creepy.
Are you still looking at the pictures?
I don't like Doll Island. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We had to rip the Band-Aid at some point. So you know what? I was like, F what we're doing this week.
Anywho, so you can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with our username at TTA Podcast. And in the bio of all of our social media is our link tree, which has our email in it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, any topic ideas you want us to talk about that does not involve dolls, please hit us up. Let us know.
Or all the dolls, because they will make her do them or make me do them, and she has to listen to it. So thanks for listening. Next week we are going to be covering disasters. Okay, so back in the day, like it seems like forever ago, I did the 2011 outbreak, and we kind of did like an overview of it, but it was super luck. So
spoiler alert about for next tornadoes, week. By the way, if you guys don't understand what an outbreak is.
Yeah. It was a tornado outbreak.
Tornado outbreak. So now we'll get to hear about specific tornadoes.
The actual tornadoes. Yes. I found them.
Nice.
I found the tornadoes.
I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. So we'll
I have more tornadoes if you want.
I'll leave you with the tornadoes. You can have the tornadoes. Okay.
Good dude. Tell my favorite movie growing up was Twister.
It's such a good movie. It's one of my favorites too, though.
I gotta go, Julie. We got cows. I need that like as a poster somewhere.
Right.
Like, I love that. But yeah, so tune in next week. That's a little short spoiler that I'm doing, and I'm sure you're gonna bring something absolutely amazing. So I'm excited. With that, we're gonna leave you with this inspirational quote.
Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away.
Oh, I love that one.
By Maya Angelou.
Heard that one. That's one of my great ones. I love that. Thanks for listening again, guys.
Until next time.
Bye.